also say you would never be able to work there because they lock the door immediately, and that's a big no for Gabe. You would be like, get me out of here.
My claustrophobic could never. Yeah, I remember watching it and it's like sealed shut, and I was just like,
no, we must flee.
It's such an immediate red flag. Still, I'd be like, you gotta open that up right now.
Yeah. What do you mean the door's locked in such a dramatic way? Hi,
I'm Gabe.
And I'm Kay.
And we're the Ghouls next door. Talking about spooky stuff.
Yeah.
Like the rich again.
Yep. Like them being terrible and disappearing people, as unfortunately they are known to do.
It's that time. Time to eat the rich. Happy summer.
Happy summer. I mean, I feel like it's the best time to be protesting, being mad about things, fixing problems.
Things start
extra
to warm
hours up in the day.
You get extra hours. It's warm. People are more open to being outside.
Yeah,
kicking up a fuss.
Exactly. Like my 8:30 bedtime is about to feel really weird. I'm gonna have to stay up later. It's gonna still be light out. My body will be confused.
Yeah, and it's clearly on the mind of the world because this is the second film that we're covering, kicking off our Eat the Rich series, where it is about someone impoverished fighting against an evil cabal of rich people.
Yeah.
That came out this year at the same time. It was in the theater at the same time.
No, literally. And then also it's just a lot of films with that theme have been coming out in rapid succession for the past few years.
For good and
a majority of the films are ew, rich people. Why are they like this? They're gross. Maybe should not exist anymore. It's been the thesis for a lot of that's why so much is capitalism, and we're in the late stage. So
a dying society, falling empire, 250 years. It's been a good run, but we're continuing our Eat the Rich series, where we're talking about horrible rich people and the people fighting back. Last episode was Ready or Not 2, which was out in theaters at the same time as this awesome film that flew entirely under the radar, They Will Kill You. I think I was advertised it a week before it came out.
Yeah.
And it was if I wasn't looking, I wouldn't have realized it. And it's just a specific type of film that I would really love. And I also really love Zazie Beetz. And then I think someone recommended it to me too, just because of that. And when we were we have to run out to go see Ready or Not 2, it was okay, well, we got to run out and see They Will Kill You.
Yeah.
Ran out there. It was hard for me. I made time. And I'm so glad I did. It was a wonderful time. You'll hear me talking about it in my section nonstop, that it's definitely one of my favorite films this year. And as much as I love Ready or Not 2, They Will Kill You was just a different beast.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll say it in my section too, but it was the reason we were telling people see Ready or Not first, just because once you see They Will Kill You, they might have been released at the same time, have similar premises, but is that a word? Premise? But
premises?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. But essentially They Will Kill You is a level of it was unlike any movie I've seen, and I've seen a lot of movies, and maybe just not ones that are like this one, but I was blown away the entire time. It was such a pleasant surprise. I went in not knowing about it, because you were let's go see this, and I was all right, I trust my producer and best friend, let's go. Let's go figure this out. And it was amazing all the way through.
I started to watch the trailer, and as soon as they opened the door and she has a gun, I stopped. I exited.
Yeah.
And I was I don't need any more. I was please don't tell me anything else.
I want to see.
And that made it so much more enjoyable. I do not know even now what happens in that trailer, and I would advise you not to watch it.
Yeah, go in blind. It was so fun.
Trust us. And it was it scratches a lot of my particular horror fan itches. I am a Sam Raimi ghoulie.
Yeah.
I love a plethora of blood and just absurd fun, like horror comedy antics, and that's what was happening here. And it, like, to the point where Sam Raimi inspires a lot of my work.
Yeah.
Our current film that is out like in the film festival circuit is very heavily like inspired by Sam Raimi, and like people who know. But like this is like very clearly taken a tip from them, and it felt like a really long, amazing episode of Ash versus the Evil Dead, which I love. So if you love like absurd gore and silliness, with also like a thread of like genuine like humanity and commentary, then this is a great film. I think it's not getting enough attention, and maybe people aren't watching it in the right way. I don't know. I just think like grab a bunch of friends, get into that summer horror time, and let's watch some of these awesome films where people are, you know, kicking ass. Names.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into it, I guess.
yeah, let me hop in. So They Will Kill You, as we said, is from 2026, and it's about a woman takes a job as a housekeeper in a New York City high-rise. Unaware of the building's history of disappearances, she soon realizes the community is shrouded in mystery and is directed by Kirill Sokolov. Asia Reeves, who's newly released from prison, it's important, finds a new job at this historic hotel, the Virgil. After attempting to flee an abusive situation that leaves her in the hands of the prison system, Asia is seemingly ready to return to society and hopefully reconnect with her younger sister Maria, who she unintentionally abandoned. Similar to Ready or Not, or Grace and Faith, it was like, we're in these shitty situations and, you know, I had to leave, but hers was, I tried to get us both out. And
it didn't
look
work.
what happened to me. The Virgil, her new place of work as a maid or a housekeeper, is a famous thing with an illustrious history, an exclusive guest and employment list. Luckily, Asia gets the gig and starts her first day not exactly hopeful. She's not under any illusions of like what the hotel is. Like she's not like into the glitz and glamour of it or the history. She's like, whatever. They're like, dude, no, the Virgil and the history. And she's like, just show me where I go to bed.
Yeah. I'll also say you would never be able to work there because they lock the door immediately, and that's a big no for Gabe. You would be like, get me out of here.
My claustrophobic could ever. Yeah, I remember watching it and it's like sealed shut, and I was just like,
no, we must flee.
It's such an immediate red flag. Still, I'd be like, you gotta open that up right now.
Yeah. What do you mean the door's locked in such a dramatic way?
Taking regular doors off of the hinges because they were going to be maybe accessible for 30 minutes. And I was like, that's too many minutes. So not for me. But Asia is also not buying into it. She's just like, this is a place of work. And it's like full of like just cringy white people, and then the staff are also super sus. It's going like Stepford Wives. And the staff bustle about and seem friendly enough, right? Offering that we're a family culture that corporate America loves. Like it was definitely like, oh, we take care of each other here. It's an exclusive club.
Wink, wink.
For both the attendees and the employees. And I was like, okay. It's like, how much you paying?
Or are you even, to be honest?
Right.
Like,
come on. But it becomes quickly apparent that something sinister lurks behind the smiles and tacky teal walls. The front doors, as Kay said, lock system is like an intricate bank vault sealing its residents in, which should have been like the first thing, which is why it's like, you're like very suspicious of Asia's like interactions here, because you're like, why isn't she
reacting more? Yeah, like,
you know, she's like pretty cool. She's like, I've got to sleep. I'm gonna take a shower. In fact, during that same steamy shower, a message is revealed on the mirror, the film's title, They Will Kill You, and it slowly evaporates. The first night in her new room is fitful, and soon those sinister truths are revealed as Asia becomes a prey for the satanic cult of rich people. Only Asia seems quite ready and prepped for the assaults. Like, she comes prepared.
She has hands.
Like, full stop. Why are you
so good at fight?
Not Baron, and then you were fully carrying. So I won't reveal much else because I found the twist, like, at this point to be really exciting. I looked at Kay and we were just like,
they were both like,
because I genuinely was like, what? Like, after like the first 15 minutes, I was worried because I was just like, we've already seen the rising action.
Yeah.
And it's like already crested.
It's like, what else is there to do? Yeah, no, exactly.
It's like, we've done the film. It's happened. What I was promised to happen in that little slip of the trailer, and now what? And then you discover that this is just the beginning, obviously, and it is a delicious morsel of violence before an entire buffet of savagery, gore, and insane situations. Zazie Beetz is a powerhouse of badassery, absolutely destroying the villains while also having some unexpectedly tender yet honest moments with Mila, who plays her sister Maria. I also love that actress too. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Like one of my top fave films.
Yeah, she's also in industry and is like really popular for that.
Mm-hmm. I love Zazie. So yeah. It doesn't take much. You can sell me. Patricia Arquette is also pleasantly peculiar, and her ensemble cast of villains complement both her and this absurd storyline. There's like Draco Malfoy's in it.
Yeah.
Like right away something happens to him where I was like, okay, that's just like, why would he sign up?
He's like a pretty big actor for it to be, yeah.
I forget his name, and I'm sorry I like used the worst reference for him. But my section is essentially, we're like a family here and other impressions.
Cute.
Because I think like while the story definitely has that overarching like rich people stuff, and we're murdering them, there's like more to it than like what Ready or Not is giving us. Like Ready or Not gave us a very obvious like, we're just having fun and playing in this space, and this was like, there's levels to this. Like this could get shittier, actually. It's like this could be worse.
Turns out,
Ready or Not, pretty bad. Could be worse. Yeah. And that's what we get. So They Will Kill You is a punchy, gory, and brilliant mess. It was delightfully unexpected, and while at times it certainly feels like John Wick, but with a badass black woman, that's not a negative.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a selling point, honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It is a relentless assault of silly world building and over-the-top body gore. Inverse's review of the film calls it a gonzo gore fest, and I couldn't agree more. I was like, that's exactly what it is. It feels like an instant cult classic, as counterintuitive as that sounds. Like it can be a cult classic when you just came out. Yeah. But I feel that way because it flew under the radar and like wasn't getting the attention during its release that I think once it is released as a screening option is gonna skyrocket. Like, I just think people are gonna have fun when they have access to it, and it will just strike joy into the hearts of summer screeners. Yeah. It sends me to Raimi levels of gory bliss, and it's a perfect horror film to watch with friends, and I highly recommend it. So like with Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, I had not been expecting or even asking for this film, but was pleasantly surprised by it. I'm a bit disappointed in its promotional team, as I mentioned, that seemed to lack the confidence in their own piece, especially in the shadow of the bright and shiny sequel to Ready or Not releasing at a similar time. Like, I get that. Like, maybe you delay the release. I don't know. Like, it felt like they set them up to fail, and it was kind of rude. Yeah. Also, they don't, like, girls don't have to compete against each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like, these
Uplift
are two,
both,
like, right. You got two awesome sisters kicking ass. Let's do both. Yeah. Why do we have to be fighting? Anyway. While Here I Come was a lot of fun and also a pleasant surprise, there are moments that left me wanting, or rather not wanting, as discussed in our episode last week about the film, where I felt the relationship with the sisters seemed like tacked on, stalling the forward momentum of the film's like rapid fire assault. Because it just felt like it was like, oof.
Yeah.
Now we're complaining at each other. And I'm like, this is really not the fucking time. Whereas like in this, they were also like, this is not the fucking time. Get in line. Yeah. You know? Those moments, this very similar moments between the Reeves siblings felt so much more honest and realistic. And in both films, the sisters offer no illusion of butterflies and rainbows in their relationship, which I appreciate, but it's exceptionally real and They Will Kill You. These moments also didn't stall the action, but rather inform the rest of the film and happen concurrently with their fight for freedom. It was like, we're getting a breather similarly to the other one, but then it picks right up and it keeps with the punchy comedy. So it wasn't trying to like there's moments with Grace and Faith in Ready or Not where they stop and they're just like being sad at each other and angry at each other. And it's not exactly fun. Like, we're not having fun anymore. And we were just having fun. We were just giggling. And this, it's like for a moment, it gets pretty serious because it is pretty heavy. And then Zazzie's character Asia will say something out of pocket. She's like, shut the fuck up. You know, this is like, this is not the time.
Yeah.
You know, or she just like punches her in the face. Like, to me, it was just like,
it's like, we don't got time to talk. We gotta get you out. Yeah. No, literally.
Yeah, it kept the same, like, this is a crisis, and then also kept the comedy and the release of tension, and didn't feel like you were just like shocking me with emotion for a second. Mm-hmm. And then seeing their growth and like their connection and this idea of coming back for me, it also didn't feel the necessity to like hit me over the head with it. Like in Ready or Not, like they're literally like, you should have left me behind. And he's like, I won't leave you behind. Like, girl.
Yeah, there's a lot of talking versus action, where this had so much more action. Yeah. Yeah,
and that same situation of like, you should have left me behind, you shouldn't have left me behind happens, but it is an example in the program, and they don't feel like the necessity to like stop everything to tell us.
Yeah.
So I just feel like that did really well in this film, whereas it didn't do great in the other film.
Yeah.
The other core difference between these films is our Final Girls, and I am overjoyed at the addition of Zazie Beetz to the Final Girls roster, and to situate her firmly at the top of that list with Best Final Babes, Erin from You're Next, Grace from Ready or Not, and there's obviously others on that list. You know, there's Ripley. You know, there's plenty. I have a running list of some of my favorite Final Girls, but those two felt the most relevant because it's like one person against like an onslaught of people.
Yeah.
And I will be reaching out to Final Girl enthusiasts and frequent Ghoul guests June for their take, because they always have something to say, especially about Final Girls.
Yeah.
That being said, Ghoul Scouts should know by now how excited I am by the presence of Black Final Girls, but also how wary I am about their treatment in a story. Mm-hmm. And you can check out our next episode on Opus with Final Girl Ayo Edebiri for more on what that looks like when we're not quite committed, but still how important it is to have them there.
Yeah.
And I just think like this film did a decent job. I didn't feel like they were hitting me over the head with things, and I felt like they gave Zazie and Mila like the consideration for their experience. And it played as a part of this film.
Yeah.
Like it was important that they were this, you know, or they wouldn't be in the situation. Zazie Beetz also felt that importance, and it shows on the screen. She absolutely kicks ass. So I really hope someone puts her in like a John Wick movie. I know they're doing a lot of spin-offs.
Yeah.
I won't let that man die. So do her. She could be the next ballerina. I don't know. There's going to be a show. I don't know. Put her in it.
Yeah.
We know she could do cool stuff. But she said, I love turning that idea on its head and changing the genre of horror, specifically in Black women and Black men dying first so often in films. And I love this, you know, being the Black final girl, that's an amazing honor. You don't really understand what's driving her to be there, and driving her also to go against her instincts, but she has a very emotional goal in this movie. And so for me, that was what it was like, interesting for me to play with. I think it's incredible to have more Black people in the horror space as well. I think it's interesting to explore horror extremes and have that sandbox to play in. She shared this in an interview with Madame Noir titled, Being the Black Final Girl is an Amazing Honor, Zazie Beetz on Flipping the Horror Tropes. Which is really true.
Mm-hmm.
And she definitely was playing in that space. We don't have a lot of them.
Yeah.
So welcome to the party. To avoid spoiling the unexpected but delightful twists of the film, I won't dive too deep into the film. And I also feel that with Here I Come, the Ready or Not sequel, the message is still on the nose, right? Not offering too much more than a good time. But there is an added layer with Asia and Maria being Black women, and their backstories are given more depth, however brief, than the one Grace and Faith had. We are introduced to their backstory immediately. We get to see it.
Yeah.
And we never get to see that with Grace and Faith. We're firmly in the present, which is fine. The predatory nature of the Virgil is what gives this more substance than I think Here I Come, Satanic Cult.
Yeah.
While also taking advantage of the poor, just like Ready or Not, the Virgil is specifically seeking out vulnerable people that won't be missed by the larger world.
Yeah.
These are people that go missing every day in real life, and no one bats an eye, right? These are immigrants, lower income folks, Black and brown people, indigenous people, queer people. It's just anyone just going missing and no one's caring. There's several documentaries about these things, right? Grace, in Ready or Not, was seen as at least as enough of a potential equal, right, see white woman, to be offered a seat at the table through marriage. So in the first Ready or Not, had Grace not pulled the hide and seek card, she'd be blissfully wed to a rich, shitty husband.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't know she was going to do that.
Yeah.
But she did. Like, it was all expected for her to do it or she would die, you know?
Yeah.
She also very much has the choice of absolute power in the end of the second one. And that comes without any catch other than the ambiguity of her soul. Like, she ties that to her, but she actually could, like, fix the system from the inside or whatever.
Yeah,
like, she's given that option. She gets ultimate power.
Yeah.
She turns it down. Zazie and them were never going to get that.
Yeah.
They were never offered a seat at this table. So though there is a similar offering of power and connection in They Will Kill You, that power comes with a price and still exists very much in a tiered system. While the help at the Virgil may also get to partake in the magic of this satanic cult, there's still the help. This is played upon in the film, like inspiring like sympathetic laughter from the audience when one such maid is told to clean up after the mess she created by trying to murder Asia. And no such demand was given to the elite Satanists. Satanists. They get to murder as merrily and messily as they please. And it is funny. It's like a punchline of like that whole idea of like, we're family here, but you have to clean up after your family, right?
You are less than your family. Yeah.
Right, like, get up. Like, okay, girl, get up. The members of the cult, or at the very least, Patricia Arquette's Lily and her husband Ray, played by Patterson Joseph, are given a more complex and sympathetic story behind their position in the cult. And I'm not writing off their decades of villainy, murder, and corruption. They're definitely the baddies for sure. But there's more sympathy to be had for these two, and an understanding of how they got here that offers more than the Ready or Not's cult of powerful elites desiring more power. Like, they were like fighting to survive and then ended up in this situation. They're like the Grace of the situation that decided to choose that instead of putting it down. And so then they were corrupted in this longer way versus like the rich elites like came in straight up in Ready or Not and were like, I deserve this power. Yeah. And I'm specifically getting it to harm others.
Yeah.
For the folks, some of the folks, specifically Ray, the husband, the parts of the cult that involve murder is a, poor negative aspect to an otherwise wonderful situation, right? Versus like the delight that Ready or Not is getting and the rest of the They Will Kill You people. So there's like a difference there. But ultimately, They Will Kill You deserves a lot more love and attention than it has gotten. It manages to be both a brilliantly entertaining and brutal film, while also dangling bits of social commentary throughout to keep things interesting. So do yourself a favor and add this to your summer horror watch list. And add literally anything Zazie Beetz is in. XOXO Gabe.
Yeah. As you could probably guess, I agree with Gabe. This film was great. And it got so much less love on the internet than I expected, which was like pretty upsetting to me. Where I was like, I saw like a lot of reviews that were like negative, and I was like, what do you mean?
Right.
Like, what do you mean?
Right.
Were you there?
Though.
What?
Think about it though.
Yeah.
Like, are we surprised?
Yeah. No. I mean, there's a reason that, Ready or Not received a different reception than.
Right. Which is reflected in this film, I think.
Much,
and that's why I think it's so great that it exists. Like, I'm telling you, it's so fun.
Absolutely. And I feel confidently that I've never seen a film exactly like it. Like, I was in awe throughout the entire thing. Like, as gives like the first 15 minutes, you're like, and like, I don't think my face like stayed settled like normal for more than a few minutes at a time. Like, the most wacky, wild, not inflatable arm flailing two man, but like ridiculous stuff is happening in this film that I was shocked. And a lot of the critiques of it were like, it's just like other. I was like, no, it's not. What? Or like, have I not seen these
like
films?
Anything.
Like, what do you mean? Like, this is the craziest, like, most unique film I've seen in a really long time. And I will say with my entire chest that I have not had that much fun watching a horror film in a minute. Like, it was just so silly but serious and also ridiculous. And as I said, if we're comparing the two, like, you have to watch Ready or Not first just because it does not compare. Like, it is just so much a level above. It was gory, wacky, weird, and so fun. And the sister story dynamic had a lot of depth, in my opinion. And as chaotic and ridiculous as some of the plot was, I enjoyed the feelings that it let us, like, sit with between them. And as Gabe said, they don't make you sit for too long. Like, they have it as such a more action-based thing. But
and it's also like it's clear that there are inspirations to this film.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that could be bad things, but this felt like nice. Like, it felt like an homage to a brand of horror that we've only seen in select moments and generally from a few directors, and usually not like having strong Black women at the helm of this film, like being our sole person. Like, I just think two things can be true. Like, it doesn't inherently make it negative that it's inspired by, but I do agree that it is not like anything else. And that being said, like, Ready or Not is just like Ready or Not. Like, you just copied yourself and you didn't really
literally
add a lot, you know? Like,
no, literally. And like the plot of, like, I liked the film, but like it was a very fun time. I'm not saying it was a bad film. It was just like, it was very much just like a add-on. Like, the plot with the sisters, she didn't even have a sister in the last movie. Like, they clearly were just like, now she has a sister because that'd be fun. Wacky time. Like, what do you like, there was very little intentionality given to the sister dynamic versus this, where it felt like so much more emotional and like impactful and like intentional, because this was the first of its iterations, I imagine. But
yeah, it does make like Grace from Ready or Not, the original, become kind of an asshole. Like, you didn't even invite your sister.
Yeah.
Like, and you abandoned her. Like, it makes it so much worse. Like, at least like Asia, like, she didn't have a chance. Okay?
Yeah, no.
The system was set up for her to
like, I'm sorry, you know, I was in literal prison. I couldn't come to take care of you. Yeah, literally. Like, and like, you can get like by like why a kid would be upset because her life has been shit from that moment, but like the forgiveness makes sense. Yeah, no, literally. And like, it would have been if they like ran off to New York and were impoverished the entire time. Like, they still would have struggled. Yeah, so it's like, just leave. Y'all were just in a shit situation, and now you're in a different shit situation. Different. Yeah, it's so like funny.
And didn't weren't all the times you kept me stuck watching you.
No, literally. But let me get to the meat of what I'm hoping to cover in my section, which is they will kill you if you ignore the signs, like the mirror on the wall that's like, they're gonna kill you, and you're like, it's not happening right now.
Right. Or the door closing, locking up. Or them touching you when they shouldn't be touching you.
Yeah.
Lingering glances. There's a lot of warnings.
Yeah, throughout. Like, they will kill you if you stay and you don't ignore these signs. The writing on the wall, so to speak, for this film happens, as Gabe said, in like the first like intro of minutes that we're witnessing these characters. After arriving at the hotel and settling to her room, it's on the wall. And I think it could be easily mirror, whatever, you know. On the mirror, they will kill you. And I think it's something that could have easily just been like, oh, it's fun that they're putting the title there in the movie, and like, it's like, oh, that's what's going to happen, so it's like really on the nose and like cute. But I argue it is the unspoken writing on the mirror or the wall about the rich in general, because they are trying to kill us all the time. It's the longer you ignore that the water is boiling, the more you're gonna die when it gets too hot, instead of trying to like escape the pot that is income inequality.
It's just like Keith Stanfield saying get out and get out. He's not just saying like get out of this situation. Yeah. You know, like he's saying get out of America.
Like, we're trapped. It's a problem. As Gabe referenced, the Virgil acts as a hierarchical system, and each floor is a playground for the rich elite and those who were unfortunate enough to take a job at the hotel in hopes that they could escape a variety of societal ills, either face death or perpetual servitude. Like, either way,
that's life, baby.
You're dead in the fact that life sucks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, either way, you're alive, great. But you're stuck in this hotel where you are literally a servant to these rich people for the rest of your forever life. Like,
yeah.
So
yeah,
is it a gift, actually?
No.
And the people who go to work there, as Gabe said, are society's most vulnerable. People that the system has been kicking for generations, doing as it was intended to do, unfortunately, by harming them at every turn. And as Gabe said, these are the people that society has rejected, and that the system won't bat an eye when they go missing. Asia, however, is someone who notices that her sister is missing and cares more than anyone at the Virgil could have ever anticipated. Like, she's like, I must get my sister. That was the whole reason for her going there. And I think because lots of people don't have like wealth and power to back up their search for their loved one, doesn't mean that they aren't loved and like people aren't looking for them. It's just the system is messed up, and I'm going to get into that. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it's good to learn things. It's just it's sad.
It's unfortunate that you have to learn about it.
Yeah, but as I said, if you don't look for the signs, they will kill you. So this is
killing us.
They are killing us actively. And this is, of course, not the case for everyone who walks through the Virgil's doors, as the system and the hotel depend upon that no one will be able to find them, or that they won't have the resources. So whether there is care for those unlucky enough to work there, or whether there is power in the hands of those who might miss them, the system benefits from their disappearance. And in looking at society, many groups fall under the recruitment audience for the Virgil and systems like it. Like, I don't know what their recruitment process is, to be honest. It doesn't really hint super to that. Like, we know that Maria found her way there, but there isn't a ton of information on how they seek out these marginalized communities. But
they're looking.
They're recruiting them and trying to find them specifically targeting people who are like desperate and don't have a lot of other options. So there are so many groups throughout the U.S. that quietly go missing, and there are countless Black girls and women that go missing, just like Asia and Maria, and who are never found. Our final girls being 2 Black women is so important because no one was coming to save them, and them having to literally fight their way through this hotel at great harm to themselves is a direct reflection of the unfortunate society with which we currently live. And in an article titled "Shining a Light on the Crisis of Missing or Murdered Black Women and Girls in the United States" from the Office of Justice Programs, they provide some upsetting statistics saying that Black women and girls are disproportionately affected by violence, trafficking, and systemic neglect, leading to high rates of their disappearance and placing them at greater risk for homicide. Although they make up a significant portion of the missing persons cases in the U.S., their stories often go underreported and unnoticed by national media and law enforcement. And according to the National Crime Information Center in 2022, of the 271,493 girls and women reported missing, 97,924, or over 36%, were Black, despite the fact that Black women and girls comprised only 14% of the U.S. female population at the time. That's a really alarming statistic. And in addition, according to a recent study published by the peer-reviewed general medical journal, The Lancet, Black women are 6 times more likely to be murdered than their white peers. These stark and tragic statistics reveal and underscore systemic issues of bias, neglect, and a lack of resources that hinder effective responses to this crisis. "They will kill you" written on a mirror from a Black man to a Black woman about the white elites at the hotel is important, and why this film holds more depth than Ready or Not to. Although I will say, like, Sokolov is a white man, so like I don't know how much he actively intended for that to be the nuance and depth. I mean, I think it seemed like, based on what you were saying, Gabe, that like Zazie and Maitla had like say in what was going on and like could influence how their characters developed, and that was really important. So like kudos to him, because that's what added a lot of nuance and narrative and depth to this plot.
Yeah, I do think like there's some intentionality between the casting, because I think, one, obviously because there had to be this biracial couple, but I do think it really was a lot for it to be a Black man, similar to what we're going to talk about next week with Opus. Like, there having to be a fellow Black woman be the one to tell you get out is really important, because
Yeah.
you're not going to listen otherwise. But I also want to uplift just the fact that, like, in this film, Asia takes on this job from a Latina person who, during a time when Latina people are being abducted, not just like because of, like, you know, random people, but by the literal government, right?
Yeah.
And they chose that person, like the Virgil chose that person because of course they could go missing, you know? So I think like I think there was an intentionality there
versus who he was picking.
You know, like it would be a different thing if Grace, of Ready or Not, was played by a Black woman. I think it's like you'd miss a lot of the nuance in that story. This felt like the nuance was intentional.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he did a great job. It was just more like...
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Even as we acknowledge the harm enacted by Lily and Ray to the countless other vulnerable women in the form of sacrifice, the warning and attempted redemption is compelling. Like, the end that we see for Ray, and I won't spoil it, but like it was it was an emotional part of the story. And I think, yeah, it just added a lot to like the trust that went into it, as you were saying, Gabe. So in addition to missing Black women and girls, it is important to note that they are not the only group that the Virgil and system recruit for this kind of disappearance. We see this in the makeup of the maids at the Virgil, as they are largely marginalized women. Specifically with the state of the United States right now, as Gabe was saying, it would be remiss not to mention that there is an entire arm of the government through ICE disappearing girls and women of many marginalized groups, but especially Latina women. Even before this presence of ICE, though, this was an issue within society of countless Indigenous and Latina girls and women going missing without media or societal attention. In an article titled, "There is a Crisis of Missing Latinas, but the U.S. refuses to acknowledge it," from Refinery 29, they say, across the United States, and especially in the South, there are thousands of cases much like Miranda Rosa's, which is a missing Latina woman, and missing Latina women and girls whose disappearances are rarely known or solved. Unlike non-Latina white women, their cases, as well as that of missing Black and Indigenous women, fail to receive merited attention and are not treated as seriously by law enforcement and media. In the 2018 report by criminologists Dr. Danielle Slackoff and Dr. Pauline K. Brennan, they found that white women victims received more repeated coverage than non-white women, and the study also noted that the researchers weren't able to examine stories about Black and Latina women separately because coverage of missing Latinas is so underreported. It is a phenomenon that the late Afro-Panamanian journalist Gwen Iofil called missing white women syndrome, and it's quite literally preventing our women and girls from ever being found.
And that's referenced even in one of the seasons of You that we covered, because we had
I think it's like the title,
Gabrielle,
right?
Yeah, it was the title of one of the episodes, because we have like a new love interest that is a Black woman, and so it's like watching him like make mistakes.
And his like privilege. Yeah, no, literally. And in thinking of the Missing White Women Syndrome, society operates under where white women who go missing receive extensive news coverage and media outrage. In thinking of intersectionality, it is clear that Lily is putting her whiteness above her identity as a woman. Inversely, up until the like recent plot, Ray had been putting his identity as a man above his Blackness, which is what allowed him to validate his superiority compared to the victims of sacrifice. If him and Lily are operating at a level above the women they are harming, then they are the exception and therefore view their power within the system as a hard-earned prize, like a pull yourself up by the bootstraps kind of thing, because they were also of lower class and like still get the power of this cult. They're in charge of the help, but that's still a step above everyone else. So additionally, they think in some way that they have pulled themselves up out of being harmed by wielding power over their workers. And if their names are in the book or on the head of this, if written somewhere.
Yeah, they're a part of it.
The cost is necessary. And to the workers, their power exists as like kind of a lottery of sorts to represent a way out for those at the lowest level because they made it out. And they're actively harming them, but, they act as an example that one day maybe you could be up here. And where Lily views the sacrifices made to save herself and for a time, Ray, as well, as a better them than us mentality that benefits those at the top, towering to Virgil. If they must perpetually be the help, at least they are on the top of the hierarchy. But to get back to the Dynamite section, they will kill you if you ignore the signs. We see that the biggest barrier to fighting these systems is like this idea, like the hierarchy of the people at the top versus the people at the bottom. And I think it's wonderful that we do get some redemption for Ray, but as you said, Gabe, like they're still the villains. It's unfortunate. But the hierarchy of the system prioritizes those of the working, middle, and upper middle classes, believing that they are above the ones below them. Much like Lily and Ray, it depends upon the belief that suffering is justified or at the very least necessary. If those at the lower middle believe better them than us, they uphold the system. And additionally, they ignore the signs that they are two sitting in a pot of water, warming up to a boil. And it's, that I think the buildup there is really important and like intentional. And also, like, as you said, like a lot of the unfortunate realities of our world right now really reflect the people being impacted in this film. And it gives it like much more depth than we would have seen in Red. Like the villains have a compelling story. We are sitting with them. Like being a mixed race couple, you're like, oh, so you were alive during the time where that was like illegal. So like you see like
the inspiration for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like obviously like the sinners, like Stack and Mary, like getting to live long enough where it was okay for them to be together kind of thing. Like I think it's playing upon that, but then you finally get Ray and he's like, you know what, she's putting her whiteness above all the people who have the same color skin as me, and I can't endorse that anymore, and I need to help this poor girl that had,
especially because like his challenges, like his struggles, the things that he was trying to, get above were like so much more than what she had. Like she had her love for him that wasn't allowed, but he had his whole existence that wasn't allowed. And so like that's something he like it does give him a bit more grace to like understand why he did what he did versus like what you're getting in something like Ready or Not, where it's like every one of them is irredeemable, and some of those people are people of color, and you're thinking like, but these are also people who historically have taken advantage of it, right? Like I think there's difference there, because it's just like you have like a Japanese woman in Ready or Not, and it's like Japan's full of that. Japan was tried to do that a lot, take over. A lot of colonialism. And so like that example of like they were chosen as the elite for a very specific reason, for a deep history of oppression. And then you have this cast where the people, at least the help, were all chosen. And I remember just the moment of like, when you first see him in the beginning and she's walking by and you start to see all the help, I was like, uh-oh. I was like, that's not good. Because I immediately peeped it and I was like, wait a second, that's a lot of black and brown people. And just other like, people of color. And then it, for me, was a big relief that was intentional and wasn't just like, oh, of course the help would be black and brown. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, we're just trying to say. It wasn't just saying like, yes, of course these white people are like racist and gross and that they would only employ, black and brown people. But it was like, oh, they're only employing black and brown people. And it's a specific thing. Because it's true. Like we're just, I think there was some commentary that was being said there throughout the piece that I just think people need to put some respect on. And then on top of that, so like that part like is leaps and bounds above the commentary or discussion that we're seeing with Ready or Not 2, right? And then on top of that, the fun that you're having with the stupid, idiotic silliness of this film is like so good. It's such a great marriage of like two absurd things, like comedy and horror, and they're playing together in such a beautiful way. And so like and it's relentless. And I will say the only thing that like kind of took me out of it is what I mentioned last episode, was that there's just a moment where it stops being fun for a minute and it just gets a little too hard. And I'm like, let's take a breather. We can cut away. I don't think we need to harm so violently on screen. Like, and that, I just keep coming back to that where I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like when we stop having fun, you know, or it stops feeling like it's intentional and feels more like you're abusing the audience, I have to ask a question, you know, like,
yeah, like, do you actually care about these characters and what they're representing? And does it re-traumatize your audience? Like something that we kind of, usually when we're interviewing people, we talk about that. We talk about that a lot on the show.
Yeah.
Like, when does it cross that line? And like, when is it not maybe your place to say, like, tell that story? And what does it mean that you're putting them through that kind of harm? Yeah,
because there's a line of like commentary into like you're contributing, right? And so like that's where I do feel like there was a moment for both of these films where I was like, ha ha ha, I'm having so much fun, it's gory and silly and people like silly people, and then there's just a moment, and I get it, like it's like every part of the anime arc where the hero gets just like punched
decimated
down and has to like fall so that they can get back up and be stronger. I get you. There's a way to do that without hearing bones crunch, you know, like I just like there's just parts of that where I was like, this is now getting into gratuitous and not in a fun way, in a realistic way. And when you're having a film where you're focusing on specifically like a vulnerable population of like Black and brown women and people of color being preyed upon by a system, and then you do that, it's like, I get what you're saying. You've already been saying it. Like, you've said it the whole time without having to do this very specific action. And so I just like, maybe we could draw a little line in future iterations. Like, again, I get it. I think like, and Zazie took a lot and she gave a lot. And I think it felt really, even as absurd as it was, like it was like, you know, like she's like flying around so much where she's just like literally like, you know, in the air and there's blood everywhere. And there's like darkness. They had so much fun playing with like sight, playing with like her different toys, and like it really felt like a really fun, like the raid. It's just like fighting up and down this hotel to survive. And that was great. I lived for that. It just was like one little moment where I was like, okay. All right. Okay. Stop.
Yeah, we don't need to do that much to harm our femme characters. And like, I know we talked about also, it's just like when you put a femme character on screen, like you can't brutalize them to that level, because it's like, if the commentary is don't do that to people, like it happens, so like you have to really recognize that. Like, if anything, the reason it's so funny when everyone else is getting the crap kicked out of them is because that doesn't really happen to them as much. With the statistics indicated that exact fact, because of like the percentages of homicides, and 33 like
that's why we need films like this, so we can kind of like release some of that injustice.
But we shouldn't be doing that on screen to the population,
to the people who are happening to
do
them.
that to
like,
the other people that aren't having that happen to them as much. Like that's what
she
made
was
it fun.
Covered in blood.
You
know, she was already went through it.
They cut through her hand. Like that was enough.
And that's like that's rough, but it was something. And I think like there's a way to artistically do it too. Like you can get her hit, she falls to the ground, and then she's like, we could hear it maybe, and we go away. Like there's just things that we could do. And then I will say it's like an unfortunate kudos to give for a horror movie where it has two horror movies that feature strong women final girls, right? Is neither of these films have sexual assault in them. It feels like a gross kudos, like, oh no. Like I'm sad that I have to feel thankful for that.
That's fair.
And I'm hopeful that just means like maybe we've put that behind us. And we can have other, because this is like such a brilliant example of like we can have other motivations. Like femme people can have other motivations for wanting to kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like both Grace is like, I gotta survive, right? And then Asia is like, I need to save my sister, and also y'all are evil as fuck. Right? Yeah. Like I think that is so much more fun than when we have the rape revenge nonsense. It's like same thing with Erin from You're Next. Like she's just trying to survive. And they picked the wrong one, you know?
No, literally. And it's like also thinking about like the landscape that we're dealing with right now, where a lot of what the evil rich people have been found out to do revolves around that specifically, and have not faced accountability at all. So like it's the wound is too fresh. Like there's been no consequences delivered, and not enough time has passed where I think it would be safe to explore that kind of stuff. And also I don't think it adds to the story at all. But like I think if they're trying to talk about the reality of what's happening, it is not the time to be releasing that kind of film or plot.
Yeah.
There's not accountability that's taken at all.
Right.
And healing as a society that has been done where that would be okay. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And I think like there was definitely a moment in Ready or Not too, where they could have like, to define this person as evil, they could have crossed that line. It was a wide opening, and they decided, no, he's just a piece of shit because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. And I was thankful for that. Absolutely. Yeah.
I was like, that's so true.
He is just a piece of shit without that having to be a component of why he is.
Right. Yeah. Like sometimes you're just awful. Like, you know, like, we don't have to do that. And so, it's unfortunate that I'm thankful for something like that. That should just be part of the life. But I am. And I am thankful that this film exists. And I just like, I hope anyone who watched it and maybe were disappointed, try it again. Yeah, I would say,
like with a different
this time.
Headspace.
Chill out, you know, like chill out. What are you doing?
Yeah,
what are you doing? The same lack of media literacy classes you went into the theater with to watch Ready or Not 2, do that the same thing.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, imagine this is a Raimi film. Like, imagine this was, I'm totally forgetting the actor for Ash in Evil Dead.
Oh, yeah, fair. I don't know.
The internet's yelling at me, and I'm sorry. But imagine like someone like him, like a hot man, doing the same film. Would we still have the same critiques?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, probably not. I
imagine
not. So, at least.
Leave Ozzy alone.
Yeah.
she deserves to be here, and she's so happy to be here. She seems lovely. Ozzy, if you're out there, you're listening, be my friend. I think you're cool. And so I think do like a marathon, you know, of like
all these slasher summer, Eat the Rich.
Ready or Not 2, They Will Kill You. Like, let's have fun. And we have some more. So next month we're covering some oldies but goodies and somewhat recent. That's more about like like this like elitism, and then we're gonna go into another like
the deifying of the rich kind of thing.
Yeah. And then we're going to go into some sad summer.
Sad girl summer.
Sad girl summer.
Sad really summer.
It's rough out there.
Yeah.
But as always, let us know what you think. Tell us if you saw They Will Kill You. What are your thoughts, feelings? How do you feel about Sassy Beats? Only positive comments, please. But also remember to like and subscribe. Tell your friends.
We usually don't have time to mention that. So please listen to our content. We have a Ko-fi. We have... things you can help us continue to make content. By the time this comes out, we will have already done film festivals.
They're going through, you know, like if you follow us on social media, we'll be posting about all kinds of festivals and other opportunities out there. So maybe you can check out our film that is also inspired by Sam Raimi. And thank you for listening.
Bye.